The ASR mount is SilencerCo's quick attach mechanism that we use for all of our rifle cans. Now we actually support a lot of our pistol caliber cans as well, so you can use this on your Omega 9K, your Omega, Chimera, Saker. Even other competitors have copied our thread pattern, so you can actually use the ASR mount on some of our competitors' silencers as well. To mount your silencer on an ASR compatible muzzle device, first empty your weapon, make sure it's clear, magazine removed, it's on safe. Visually check that there is no round in the chamber. You're going to make sure that the locking collar is in the unlocked position. You're going to put it on your muzzle device, rotate it down till it stops, turn the collar the exact same way you just turned the can to thread it on. The more force that you crank it on with initially, the harder it's going to be to remove. Anytime you're on a taper, it's going to take more torque to remove it than you use to seat it. So if you crank it on there, you're going to have a hard time getting your silencer off later. Now we're going to go over a couple examples of what not to do to mount your ASR mount. One mistake some unfortunate souls have made is having their ASR collar in the locked position before they tried to mount it to the host weapon. If you do that, you'll actually get a little bit of binding early on, and if you think it's shouldered or mounted for whatever reason, and then turn your collar the wrong direction, it was never seated or mounted correctly in the first place. So if you shoot a few rounds, you could experience a baffle strike, or the can could even come off. Additionally, if it's in the locked position before you put it on, you can crank it down, but you'll start hearing that grinding ratcheting sound because the spring is already engaged as you're trying to thread it on over the teeth on the muzzle device. The ASR mount has no ratcheting mechanism. It's completely silent. So if you're hearing that grinding ratcheting sound, check your ASR collar and make sure it's in the proper position, because it might be in the locked position already, which that's just going to wear down the teeth on your mount and cause you trouble. Let's talk about how the ASR mounting system works. First, you're going to have your muzzle device, which is going to be on a host firearm. One nice thing about the ASR system is we offer drastically more options in thread patterns for our muzzle devices. So as far as versatility, there's nothing else out there that'll support the huge amount of thread patterns out there on various hosts. So it's easy to take one silencer and move it to a whole multitude of things. And you have a lot more options with this than any other mounting system out there. If you look at the muzzle device itself, you have basically three very important features. First, you have the tapered shoulder right here. That's what the mount itself is actually seating against. That works really well for alignment. So you have complete return to zero every time you dismount and mount the silencer back on. It also keeps the gases sealed inside the silencer and forward, so you don't have anything coming back at you. And it also keeps carbon and gas from getting in and gumming up the threads, which could also make it difficult to remove. You've got these huge coarse threads, so if this is mounted correctly, there's essentially no way the can even go anywhere without tearing off three very thick threads. And last, you have this knurled ring here, which creates a series of very fine teeth. Those interface with this mount, which I'll show you in just a second. So when you go to mount your silencer onto the host weapon, collar in the unlocked position, you're going to turn it until it shoulders. Then if you look at the backside here, you can kind of see what's going on. There's a gold copper colored spring in here. That's where the ASR gets its name. It's from that spring. ASR stands for active spring retention. So once you're shouldered on your muzzle device, if you rotate this collar, if you look closely, it's actually varying in thickness around it. This is a camming surface. As you rotate it into the lock position, you're getting those thicker portions starting to pass over these tabs on the spring. So as you rotate that, that's actually pushing those tabs with the teeth on them into the teeth of the muzzle device, basically biting down, keeping it from being able to go anywhere. And this isn't designed to keep you from deliberately grabbing your can and cranking it off. You could do that. This is just meant to keep it on so those vibrations during firing or transport can't make it break loose. So in the end, this makes the ASR mount the most versatile mounting system out there for silencers, and it's also one of the toughest. You can get your can red hot, you can put it on a belt-fed weapon, and it's not going to vibrate loose. As long as you follow these simple instructions, your ASR mount will work flawlessly, and you'll never have to worry about utilizing our industry-leading warranty service.